Hey guys, I'm actually in the art room today. It's looking pretty empty without you guys. We have a big mess behind us. They kind of cleaned out a bunch of stuff, but yeah, I just thought I'd show you around. It's pretty empty with you guys, without you guys. I miss you. So we're gonna move on to drawing more faces today. So see you in a little bit here. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna learn how to draw from 3/4 view. What that means is when there's a face that's, not quite looking right at you, not quite looking right to the side. Most faces have some aspect of this. They're almost never looking directly straight at you, and they're almost never directly perfectly to the side. So we're gonna learn how to draw a face like this, where it's kind of off to one side. It's mostly looking at us, but it's slightly off center. So just like we did back in the day, we're gonna start with a circle. And that's gonna be the top part of our skull. And ordinarily from here, we would draw a line kind of right down the center, right? For this, we're actually gonna draw it off to the side. Because she's looking off center, that means we have to draw this line off to the side as well. Now, you really gotta look and see the actual, it won't be necessarily straight up and down. You have to look at and see how the line's gonna go. So because this is a sphere, it's actually gonna curve as well. Something like that. We can put on the jaw. Of course, during all this, guys, you know what to do. You should be really looking at what this actress looks like. This is Mulan. Of course, keep in mind that you can always come back and edit as you go. All right, so you should have something that looks something like this. Pretty close to it. Now, another thing that's kind of cool about faces is that they're basically cylindrical, right? You have a cylinder, and you're putting the lines along them like that, right? They're gonna curve, they're gonna arc, because your face is round on the top and it's basically cylindrical on the bottom half. Yeah, so if you were to put a ball in here, that's what it would look like. So our lines aren't going to be perfectly straight either. They're gonna curve up because she's looking slightly down. Line is gonna curve, the ends are gonna be curving up. Remember also that these lines should be in about the middle, so it should be about in the middle here. Not necessarily. Let's do another example just off to the side. If we have someone looking over here and they're looking up, well, you're not going to see much of the top of the head, right? You're going to see something like this. Right? So you got to be careful. Not all the rules are going to apply all the time now. So just be careful. Okay. So that's that one. Our nose, it should be about between those two, roughly. Looks like hers is a little bit below, so I'm going to make it a little bit below. Again, arc it. Our ear line right there, and you actually don't see the other ear. And I like to put a bit of neck in as well. Okay. Eyebrow line is right above. Okay, so rules still apply here. Because she's mostly looking at us, we're going to have our eye lines on those. You should have room for 1/3 eye. look at how the eyes are shaped as you draw them. Remember, the eyes are the most important part of the drawing. It's what makes the person look like the person. Okay. Let's do the eyebrows while we're in the area. Her eyebrows are quite, when we did Black Widow there the other day, they're very shaped. These ones are pretty much the same thickness the whole way through, but really look at how far forward it needs to go. Right? Placement is important as well. Okay. It's looking good. Next comes the nose. So remember, we should be going straight down from the eyes. Because we're looking slightly down, we're not going to see much of her nostrils and stuff. And also, you'll notice that it's off center a little bit, right? So the nose, because it's three-dimensional, is going to be poking out from the face. So that means it's got to keep going this way. Something like that. Okay. And we'll do her mouth. So again, remember, mouths are usually slightly M-shaped. This one's actually quite flat. There is some movement in there, and remember, we need to figure out where the center of the eye is. Okay, at this point we can start erasing our guidelines. And you might need to alter the shape of the face a little bit, and that's fine. Ears in. Now again, remember, because this is arcing up, it's not going to be perfectly flat against everything. You got to make sure these are curved. That takes time. So if it doesn't look perfect, don't worry about it. Practice. Put some of her hair in. Again, I'm not drawing every single little line, every little hair. Getting the shape of her hairline. The other ones that we did were slightly M-shaped. This one's just kind of across the top. Let's get her pupils in. Now the examples that I've done, they've all been very stoic, right? They're not really showing much emotion in any of these drawings. So like the Captain America one, the Black Widow one, now this one, they're all very serious looking. And this is just to get you used to the proportions of the face, right? If they're smiling, there's going to be a whole bunch of other issues to look out for, or if they're screaming or whatever, right? So all these are just simple faces. Get a little bit more of the hair in there. Her hair is really coming off her head. It's really kind of bouncing around. She's got stuff going this way and that way. This is all dark in here. It's kind of fun drawing kind of more wild hair like this, because you can kind of get like a flow for things, right? Again, I'm not drawing every little hair, but you can kind of get the flow of these big long lines, these big long shapes kind of going everywhere. This is an example where you could put a little bit more of the hair in there, right? And obviously at this point you can start shading. So I'm just gonna do a little bit, really looking at where the darkest parts are. So it's pretty dark in here. Pretty dark underneath her. I'm using actually the side of my pencil quite a bit for this shading. I'm not putting all sorts of little pressures and stuff on there. All very dark on this side of her face. This is actually gonna help her face pop out of the image quite a bit too, which is nice. And we'll put a little bit of shading on her face and we'll call her done. It's usually a good idea to leave a little bit of light in the eyes, because there's always a bit of reflection. And there you go. It's pretty well as good as we're gonna get for today. Looks like I made a mistake there. So that's drawing from an angle. Let's do one more real quick. Let's just jump this around, flip this around. Let's do old Obi-Wan Kenobi here. Make sure it's in there, the frame, good. Okay, so again, same thing. I'm just gonna go real quick. Be a speed drawing. You guys can pause it if you need to. Circle. Line, because he's looking this way, right? And he's slightly looking up a little bit, so this is going to be at a bit of an angle as well. Side of his face is very flat right there. Remember, if we had a from the side, there'd be a line right here, right where the ear goes. So it's usually a good idea to put that into if you have cause for it. Let's sharpen my pencil. Something like that. Because he's looking up, it's going to be a little bit higher in terms of your eye line. Nose and mouth. Okay. Sometimes what I like to do too, before even I get into the eyes, I just kind of get this a line kind of between the corner of the eye and the nose and the mouth, just so that we can get kind of a gauge of where that nose is going to go, because that's going to block off big parts of the face. Brows are going to be right around there. Again, always starting with the eyes. This one's a good one because he's got an older face too, right? We haven't done a lot of faces with a lot of wrinkles. It's nice to kind of get a sense of like oldness, right? I'm messing it up already, probably because I'm talking. Let's try that again. There, that's looking a little better now. He's got kind of a squinty eye here. All right, that's good for now. We'll tidy up later. Let's get the nose in. Nose is going to come down. And I think I made it a little bit long, so I'm going to bring this line up a little bit. Just because you have a line doesn't mean it's right. Be willing to adapt. Put a circle for his nose, the bulbous part of his nose. It's looking better now. That means this mouth needs to come up a bit too. Now we're coming into an area here. His mouth is slightly open. So it's something you're gonna have to look out for. Right now I'm drawing his upper lip. And this is just a little bit open. It's basically flat across. Okay, and remember this should be roughly from the inside of his eyes. We also have facial hair, which is something new. But we have basically everything where it's supposed to be. He's got a kind of a big ear. Get that ear in, it should be right around there. As you guys get better, you'll need to use these lines less and less. You'll just kind of get to know where things go and just put them in the right spot. Let's get the eyebrows in. He actually doesn't have much in the way of eyebrows. He's an old guy. But there is just kind of a whiff of where things are. Okay, let's erase our guides. Draw in his eyes. And the rest of this point, guys, is detail, right? So I'm just gonna get kind of a outline of where his beard goes. It's kind of bushier. It's kind of got more of a goatee sort of a thing at the base here. Bit of his eye sockets poking out a little bit there. He's got some kind of bumps on his head. Okay, that's good. He's got really wispy sort of hermit hair, because he's a hermit in the movie. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Kind of going all over the place. And then you can start putting in more detail around the eyes and stuff. There's a lot of wrinkles. So really go lightly. And start putting in just some fine lines. Where the eyes, around the eyes. There's pupil and stuff in there. It's got a bit of a darkness in here. This big sort of thing underneath his cheekbone. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Always put in a little bit of a neck as well. He's got a hood on because he's a Jedi. A bit more wrinkles on this side. Shadows under the nose. And that's basically what you get. He's got a big jowl right there. Let's get that in there. Get some color on the lips. Some more detailing for the beard. All right, so there you go. There's another 3/4 view for our drawing here. There we go. Just keep practicing, guys, and have some fun with it.